Hey party people, this is Zach from FidgetSwell.com, products and principles for a simple, serene life. And today, we're taking a look at another tech organizer from Orbitkey. This is the Orbitkey Nest, and this is the version 2. So there was a version 1 and they upgraded and changed some things, so this is the version 2 here. It retails for $124.90 US, which in my opinion is quite a bit to pay for a tech organizer, but it is made from really high quality materials, and they do have a lot of little design elements and details that may make it worth the price to you. For me, it's a little bit expensive for a tech organizer, but we can go through it anyway and discuss all of its features, and you can make the determination for yourself if it's worth paying the money for. As far as what this thing measures in at, it's 9.5 by 4.7 by 1.9 inches. The surface of it is made from genuine leather. It has a polycarbonate shell, and it has kind of this nylon poly melange fabric that's this nice little weave that kind of blends a couple different colors together. So it's a couple shades of gray, and they look really nicely blended together. It's held together with this Dacron elastic that has a latex core, and it's also on the interior hinge. It feels very durable. And then this hardware on the outside as well as on the inside hinge is made from a zinc alloy. So I think overall the materials in the Orbitkey Nest are really nice and they're really high quality and premium. And actually on top of this leather surface, there's actually a 15-watt wireless charger that's built in, and it has this little port at the back so that it has a USB-C port that goes into the charger. And basically you have to supply your own power supply, so you can either plug the USB-C into a wall outlet or you can plug it into one of your portable chargers, and then you can power this little wireless charging surface. To me, that's a slight bit of a downside because I wish that the charger was built in, like there was a little one on the inside that you could recharge with that port. The fact that you have to still bring another portable charger or plug it into the wall defeats the purpose a little bit for me, because if I wanted to charge my phone or my earbuds, I could always just plug those into the wall or plug them directly into my portable charger. I don't really see the need for using this. The one cool thing about this is that if you're a digital nomad or someone that's working at a library, a coffee shop, in an airport, or in some kind of shared desk environment, you have a little platform here. So you could put your cell phone, your sunglasses, anything on top of this, and it gives you a little tray that you could put your items on top of, keep them up off the table. You could put an external monitor on here, use it as a stand. It's nice to have this little flat platform to go with you anywhere. So in front of this zinc alloy hardware here that looks really nice and has that Orbitkey logo engraved into it, you can put it back down, and you have this little leather pull tab attached to that Dacron elastic that has the latex core like they mentioned. And you can kind of unstrap that. And then on this side, you have a little nylon band that's elasticated, and it has some Velcro. And you can also use this as a little pen sleeve. So I just have my Sharpie S-Gel pen in there, and then you can just Velcro it closed. I wouldn't necessarily put an expensive pen in that loop, just because it's only held with Velcro. I would be afraid of losing one of my more expensive pens. But for a cheap pen, it's okay. If I lost this, it's no big deal. And I will say the fact that they use shock cord or this elastic cord to hold the lid shut makes me a little bit nervous, because I think stretching this and unstretching this over time might have a lot of effect on its durability. I haven't used it long enough to really test that, but I kind of wish that this was like a leather strap that you could tighten down or something like that that was a little bit more premium than just elastic, because for $124, almost $125, I don't really have a lot of faith in elastic holding up over time. Then as you can see, I have this Write in the Rain notebook over the top. I think it's nice that you can kind of attach something here. You could put note cards, you could put a portable battery, anything that you want to hold tight to the outside of this, you could kind of strap under this little strap as long as it's relatively flat. So I think that's a nice little added feature. So if I slip out that Write in the Rain notebook, we can fully unclasp this again. And then you can see this leather surface here. So it has a little indent here with the Orbitkey logo. This is the charging platform. So if you had wirelessly charging earbuds or your phone or something, you could stick it on here as long as you had that external battery hooked up. And that would allow you to get some charging at 15-watt max. Not super fast charging, but if you're going to use this as kind of a digital nomad solution, it might be cool to have just a platform to put your stuff on at a desk. And then this little platform is nice. You could put little tools, you could put little screws if you're taking stuff apart. You have just a little platform for your sunglasses, your glasses, pens, notebooks, things like that. So it's a nice little platform to have. And then if you open this up, you can see the little zinc alloy hinge here that's held on with an elastic loop down here. Again, I kind of question the durability of elastic long term, but this seems to work okay. And then if you want to take this lid off in a different way, you can just lift it straight off. So it's kind of a cool design. And then you have your own little tray here that you could put stuff in. So it's nice to have an extra little tray. If you have little doodads, if you have little SD cards, little screws, something like that, you have a little tray you could use, or you could flip it over and use it as the little platform. So it's nice that you have both those options with the hinge. It's kind of an interesting concept. As far as the lid of this, you have this little nice stretchy mesh pocket, and it's got a little leather pull tab here. Inside this pocket, this is the included cable that they give you. So it has USB-A on one side, and then it has a 90-degree angle USB-C on the other. So it allows you to plug this into the case itself, and then this into a battery backup charger. And then they've got their own little Velcro fastener here that's branded and wrapped around the cords to keep it neat. My only problem with this is I wish that the other end was USB-C, because if you're using a newer portable charger, chances are they may not even have USB-A in them. So it would be nicer if these were both USB-C ended, but it's still nice that they include a little cable with it. And I think this little mesh pocket is nice, and you could fit a lot of different things in there. So I think it's nice that you have that in the lid as an option. Then I just have a little field notebook in this little slot here, and it's good to have an extra place to write things down on the inside. Then there's some really tight pockets at the top here, and you can barely fit anything in these. So this one is about the size of a card, a business card, a credit card. I just have a gift card in there, but you can only really fit one and maybe a maximum of 2 cards in there. So I don't really see a whole lot of usefulness in that pocket. And then there's another card size pocket behind it, and I just have a little patch in there to demonstrate its size. It's Raphael from the Ninja Turtles. Then you have a couple slots in here. There's 1, 2, and basically all you could fit in here is like a micro SD card or maybe a full-size SD card. I don't know, I haven't tried, but a micro would definitely fit. And you could fit 1 here and 1 here. I just have a little sticker in here to show how tight these pockets are. So as you can see, you can't really fit a lot. There's not a lot of give here, and it's really lacking usefulness as far as these pockets go because of how tight they are. I would honestly prefer just another one of these mesh pockets on the other side. I think that would be a much better design. Or maybe a little zipper pocket that's kind of shallow like this. Anything that has more usefulness than these really tight pockets, I think would be a good choice here. So then we can get into the main compartment itself. So in this compartment, you actually have these little plastic dividers, and they Velcro down, and they're pretty tough. I could actually pick up this whole thing with it and they don't fall off as long as you kind of wiggle it into place. But then they are removable. So if you peel it off, you can kind of set up the internal organization of this case exactly how you would want by moving these around to the size of your different devices you're carrying in here, and it kind of holds them into place. So I do think that's a really cool design element. And then it's a little bit fuzzy on the inside. It feels felty because that's what the Velcro sticks to on the bottom of these plastic dividers. On this side, I just have a portable charger. This is from Ugreen. I went over this in the last Orbitkey organizer video, but it says hi when you turn it on, and it has little emojis. It has a display for what percentage charge you have. It has a little attached USB-C cable to it. So I think it's a really nice little 10,000 milliamp hour charger. And this is what I would use because it has the attached USB-C cable. I could plug it into the lid of this and use it to charge things wirelessly. And it has this little emoji face on it. So I think it's kind of a cute little item. Then to go with that, I just have another USB-C to USB-C cable in case I needed to charge any other kind of devices that are USB-C. I have that option. This gives me a little bit of length here. So if I wanted to plug this into the top of the Ugreen, it's got 1 USB-A and 1 USB-C port. I could use the USB-C port and carry something around while also simultaneously having this hooked up via this USB-A to USB-C to the top of the case. And then I could wirelessly charge things on that pad. And then Orbitkey was also nice enough to include another little Velcro gear tie that has their branding on it. So I used that to just cinch these up. Then you can see the way I've organized this interior compartment here. I made a large cavity using these plastic dividers for the portable charger from Ugreen. Then I just had the cable back here. And then I just have a really large microfiber cloth. You can unfold it completely. This is useful for cleaning off the outside of the battery charger or any kind of electronics with a screen like your phone or something like that, so that you have a way to clean electronics without damaging them. Then in this little divider up here, I just have my Sony noise canceling earbuds. These are the WF-1000 XM5s. They're really nice noise canceling earbuds. They fit really well in my ear, great sound quality, great microphone quality for phone calls, and they have really good noise cancellation. You have a USB-C charging port on the back, as well as a Bluetooth button to pair it. And these do not charge wirelessly, so I couldn't even use them with that pad on the top. So that's another thing where I wouldn't really use this as much. But I just really like these headphones, and I don't really care about wireless charging. So these are a great pair if you're looking for noise canceling small earbuds. And you can see how I set up that divider just to be the perfect size for those earbuds there. I put 3 like that. Then I just have this CountyCom portable flashlight here. It has an end that magnetizes on with a keychain loop. There's USB charging on it. You turn it to the right to turn it on. You turn it to the left to turn it off. And then you can stretch it out and retract it, and it'll make the beam go large and small. So it's just a really nice little flashlight to carry with you if you need to find something under a desk or you need to look behind a PC. And you can see I have these 2 dividers set up so that it fit right in between here. Then you just have this little universal cable. I've gone over 1,000 times before. I don't need to again. It's got 4 different ends. It allows you to plug in a ton of different devices. It magnetizes back together. It's small, it's compact. It gives you a lot of flexibility. Great thing to have with you. And then in this last little divider here, I just have these Skull Candy regular headphones, and they end in a headphone jack. But because of that, if I want to use them with my phone, I just have a little headphone jack to USB-C adapter. And then I also have the option to use them with a headphone jack if my device has a headphone jack. And I just like to have a backup pair of headphones in case my wireless ones die or break or something like that. I never want to be without headphones. And that's it as far as the internal of this compartment, but you can take a look at it more closely now that everything's outside. You see this little hinge here that I mentioned. It's on a little elastic loop as well, and it's made from that zinc alloy that I mentioned. And it's really a high quality little hinge here. I like the design of it. And then, like I said, there's this zinc alloy little piece here where the elastic attaches to keep it closed. The inside of it is this bright kind of fuzzy colored hook and loop, like I said, so these can be moved around however you need to use your gear. It's deep enough to fit most gear. The lid has a little bit of extra headroom so that you can fit thicker items in here. And I think overall it's really nice quality and a nice design. I just don't know if I would pay that price for something like this regularly because it is a premium item and it has a lot of usefulness, but I just think that's a lot of money to pay for a tech organizer. So then now with it fully open, let's demonstrate that hinge again and how easy it is to put on. So you kind of just hook it through that little zinc alloy hinge there, and then it's held in place with that elastic so you can feel the way that it holds it in place. And then you can just go ahead and close it. And I'll also take that little nylon loop where I had the pen and make sure that's shut to fully close that hinge there, as you can see. And then I will just take this cord and stretch it over the top and attach it to the little zinc alloy hardware here that keeps it closed. And you can see it's a pretty compact package, although because it holds its structure, it's a little bit long and big, so you wouldn't be able to like squish this down or anything. Obviously, it would hold its structure, so you have to make sure you have the proper amount of space in your bag for it. So if I was doing personal item only travel, I would make sure I counted for the total dimensions of this in my bag. And where I see this being the most useful is if you had something that you needed to protect. If you had one of those DJI cameras, if you had a nice mirrorless camera, you could take the lens off and put the body in here. Anything that you want to protect, because it's super durable and nothing's going to get crushed in here. So if you have any electronics or delicate things that you're scared of getting crushed, this would be a great way to store them when you're traveling. If you're going internationally, you may want something like this because it's a little bit more protective. If your bag's getting thrown around, you're moving between a lot of different accommodations or airplanes. I really like the premium materials, the leather, the polycarbonate, the zinc alloy. The only thing I have an issue with is with this elastic cord, because I think with all the other premium features, it would be better if this was like a genuine leather belt thing that you could pull closed and cinch it. And I think that would make it look a lot more premium. But overall, I do really recommend this thing if you're willing to pay the price for it, because it does have a lot of usefulness. And if you're someone who's a digital nomad, this would be a really useful premium product to keep with you. And it also is a little bit of a flex when you pull this out of your bag and put it onto a working space. So if you're working with clients and you kind of want to impress them with the gear you have in your bag and you don't want to look like someone who's using cheap items, this may be something that impresses them and makes you have kind of that more businessy image, but that's really up to you. And then I just wanted to give you an example of 2 different bags and how it fits inside so that you can see how it fits into a very small EDC bag and also how it fits into a sling bag. So let's take a look. So first up, I have this 23-liter backpack from Fjallraven. This is the Ulvo 23, and this is an amazing backpack. I've actually used it for travel, but it's a great EDC size. 23 liters is perfect to fit like your laptop, your notebook, things like that. So let's see how the Orbitkey Nest fits inside of this. If you look inside of this little flap here, you can see the internal. There's just a really simple laptop pocket, 1 zipper pocket, some pen sleeves, and that's really it as far as the internals. So I'm gonna take the Nest and put it inside. And this can kind of give you a sense of how it fits inside of a 23-liter backpack. I can put it on its side, fits pretty nicely on the bottom. I think if I was just doing this for like coffee shop EDC or taking it to work, this would work. If I was traveling, that's a little bit too much space for it to take up. And then it also has this external quick access pocket. So I just wanted to see, it goes kind of the length of the bag, and I wanted to see if I was able to fit that in here. So maybe if I just kind of maneuver this in, oh yeah, that fits nicely. So it goes from up here to down here, and you can see the shape of the item in there. So I would actually probably carry it on the exterior of the bag like that, because then it won't take up as much internal volume. But it is nice to see that even in a smaller 23-liter bag, you could still fit this in. Then I have my favorite sling of all time. This is just the Bellroy Lite Sling. This is a really nice sling bag. It's a little bit larger than just like a regular pocket dump, but I wanted to see if it could fit inside here. So if you open up these nice PU-coated zippers, I want to see if this fits in here. And oh yeah, that fits super nicely. So if you just wanted to bring your sling bag and have kind of your cell phone, your keys, maybe a notepad, a pen, a battery backup charger, just like pocket dump kind of items, it would fit well in here. And there's still a lot of volume. So you have this external pocket and it feels pretty nice. It doesn't feel super heavy. So if you open this back up, you can see the way that this fits into the internal cavity. So I think this would also be a viable option to use this little sling bag here, and then you could carry your tech around and the Nest would fit in there pretty nicely. So again, you just really have to account for its size when you're traveling. Since I'm a personal item only traveler 99% of the time, I would have to make specific room for this, but I do think it's a viable option, especially for international travel. So if you're willing to pay the price for something that's a little bit more premium, if it has features that you think would be more useful to you, if you have tiny tech gear or things that are very delicate that you want to protect in a hard-sided case, then this would work well for you. So you have to make that determination for yourself. Is the price worth the features, and are they features that you'll actually use? I think Orbitkey is doing some really interesting design decisions with a tech box like this. So I really commend them for trying something, for thinking outside of the box. And I can't wait to see more of their items and how they design and improve on their existing designs. So this is a really great little item if you want to pick it up. So what are some of your favorite tech organizers and tech pouches? Please leave a comment below for any suggestions or things that you'd like me to review in the future. And if you like videos like this, please like, comment, and subscribe because it helps the channel out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will absolutely see you in the next video. Take care.